maybe we should tell it together. Like, hey guys, welcome to Ukrainian couple. Yes.
Hey guys, welcome to Ukrainian couple. And Oreo's supposed to be here.
Oreo, come. Oh my god.
And Oreo
tells
and
you
Oreo
hello.
says hi. Hi, and he of course he wants some snacks. Without snacks to bribe him, that's it. There's no Oreo. Oreo will not do anything whatsoever. Right? Can you reach it, Oreo? Can you reach it? No, you can't. He gives up. Wow.
Okay, here.
Okay, let's see. So in this video we're gonna talk a little bit about how a recently arrived Ukrainian sees Canada for the first time, and basically it's gonna be a bit of a Canadian review of sorts. You know, how you see Canada and basically your first impressions, what you like, what you don't like about it. It's pretty interesting to talk about this because, you know, a lot of Ukrainians are coming to Canada right now, and like maybe they're probably experiencing a lot of the same like things, like emotions, I guess. They have the same questions, they have the same. And in no particular order, we're going to talk about like 10 things, right? I guess 10 things that I just could come up off the top of my head. It basically correlates to how we used to measure. Remember when we went to these Ukrainian cities in Ukraine? Mm-hmm. And we measured them based on like a bunch of criteria, like climate, you know, ease of getting around, transportation, you know, like cost of living, that kind of stuff. So the first one is gonna be climate, you know. Climate is like the weather, what it's like maybe air quality, and maybe the sun is like shining in a different way, I don't know, at you.
So we got here like to Toronto in May. So when we came in May, it was like pretty cold because we came from Poland, and in Poland it was already like very warm weather, and I remember it was like sunny. And then we came again back to the cold spring, and I remember in May it was like very cold.
Yeah.
Until the June, and then in the June it just started to be very hot because the sun is very strong here. And what I noticed is that the sky is like higher, pretty higher than in Ukraine.
You mean the clouds? You mean
clouds,
the clouds are higher?
Yeah, and clouds and sky is like more like spread, I would say. And I don't know, it seems to me like that. Maybe because Toronto is like it's the largest city than Kiev, and it seems to you it's like higher because you have all these towers. And I don't know, like
and the sky is further away.
Yeah, sky is like very far away from you, and the sun is like very hot, shining very hot. But it's I just noticed that the air, it's like easier for me to breathe. For example, if in Kiev, like I had like problems with my breathing because I have like problem with my nose, and all the time when the summer is, it's just like hard for me like to breathe, to talk at all, like. And in Kiev you have like a little bit kind of pollution from all these cars, and air is not so clear, I would say. But here it's like more easier to breathe, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. I've had like in the summer I've had a month of like stuffed nose. Here it's gone. For sure it's pollution. It's in Ukraine, you have pollution. You don't have any standards for like car emissions. You don't have any standards for factory emissions, that kind of stuff. So obviously it's pretty bad. One other thing I will just add to what you said about like the colder weather in May. Like right now it's end of August, and we're feeling when it gets dark, it starts getting very, very cold and like windy. The general zone
in Kiev, I think it's still like I just
warm.
asked my mom, and she said like it's very hot.
Yeah, very hot.
And here, like, you know, it's just start of September, but August in the evenings of August are cold already.
Yeah. So anyway, what I guess the last question is, what do you prefer? Like, what gets an edge, Toronto or Kiev? Like in this, you know.
Maybe it's because of my problem of breathing. I would tell that Toronto for me is better because it's easier for me to breathe, and I feel like, you know, this like wet air, at least a little bit.
Humid air.
Humid.
Like humid, yes.
Yeah, it's like humid. Sometimes I just feel that it's like I just somewhere near the sea.
Yeah.
And it's easier for me to breathe, so I prefer Toronto.
Yeah, that's interesting. I kind of agree. I've been here in the winter before. It's a little bit colder in Toronto than in Kiev, but I don't know. I guess it's just like my one subjective opinion. But let's go to the number 2 point, and that is transportation and infrastructure, which is like how easy it is to get around, the condition of the roads, the condition of the buses, of the subways, and basically how it all works together. Car traffic, right? Traffic here is very, very bad. Probably just as bad as in Kiev when we were there. Hard to get around, but the roads are good here, right?
The roads are good, yeah, but it's very difficult with transportation, I would say, because if, for example, you need like to get to some point, in a second edge of a city, you have to get like at least you have to have extra like I don't know 2 hours to get somewhere because and you have to be ready that you will have you will spend like half of your day or maybe like the whole day like to get somewhere if you are without car. One bus and another bus, and I don't know, like we went to Mississauga with you and we changed I think like 3 buses or 4.
Yeah, you have to change maybe 3 or 4.
And it took for us like the whole day.
But even with a car, I think it would also take us at least an hour. With Kiev, it's similar, but I don't know. It's a more compact city. It's once you get out of the city, it's like you're just driving with absolutely no problem.
But in Kiev, you have you can be sure you can rely for like a subway. If you need like to get if you need to get to somewhere, it's a reliable subway. But delays, all the time just like delays, like some technical problems all the time. I just don't remember the situation when we just like get to some point like without
delay. Yeah, the subway trains are new and they're great. It's just that they don't work like they should.
You can wait like for trams, like
sometimes 20 minutes you can wait, maybe sometimes longer.
Or they can just like repair some road, like
road work and stuff.
I would say it's not so easy without car. It would be problematic because in Kiev you can get easily like to any point.
Yeah, but Toronto is also like one of the most transit friendly cities in North America. So in the end we have to give an edge to either Kiev and Toronto, and I think maybe it could be a tie because I don't know really what's better. Like of course the roads here are great, the transportation system is great. It's pretty expensive, but I think for what you get. But in Ukraine, it's also you cannot transfer, between buses. It has its own problem. Buses are horrible. Maybe they're not air conditioned, none of that.
The main plus that you have air conditioning here.
I don't know. I think I will give you Canada a plus, but I don't know. What do you think? You would not? You'll give it a minus?
I would not, yeah. I just think in Kiev it's easier than here.
It's easier.
Maybe it depends because
it's a larger
city.
But then about the roads, the traffic is pretty much the same, right? Like the road conditions.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're kind of bad in some areas in Ukraine, but not like horrible. And Oreo's going away. The number 3 topic is groceries, I guess, but not just groceries, just day-to-day life. Just everyday life. Cost like the quality versus cost, I think, like what you get, how easy it is to get it. I think in terms of selection, like when it comes to like groceries, clothes, and that kind of stuff, like what would you say is better, Ukraine or Canada?
Okay, I would say that in Canada you have like better choice than maybe in Kiev. Of course, like you have a better choice, and especially if it goes to some frozen food or some fast food, you have it everywhere. And I don't know, for Canadians it's maybe more convenient to have it, just some frozen burgers or just some frozen pizza and everything, and you have a lot of this, and of course like it's we're talking about juice, like of juice. Even you can have like big bottle of juice and you don't have to care about like that you have to buy more and more and more. Like in Ukraine you just buy like with all the big packages of these things and you just forget about it. You just go like once in a week to the store, you buy all of this stuff. I like in Canada choice. I like everything here, and it's a big choice, like really big choice. But the one thing I don't like, and it's not like, and it's just annoying me, that you cannot like buy, if you go like to some Freshco, to like some Walmart or something, you cannot buy like this little bottle of water just separately, like just
No, you can. It's gonna
water.
be in.
Yeah,
It's
you
gonna
can
be
buy.
in the refrigerator. You can buy it.
Yeah, but it's gonna be expensive. First of all, it's just like have no
They don't
usual
have
water.
any
Yeah,
water.
they just have like sweet
You can just
water.
have
They just
the
have
problem is
some
you cannot
carbonates.
usually have the 1 liter bottle that you're used to. But they either have like a package of 24 small
Yeah,
bottles.
yeah,
They have some sweet like water, like some carbonated sweet water. Well, anyway, we're going off topic
Yeah.
because you're supposed to tell me what is better, Canada or Ukraine. Like again, it's not just grocery stores. It's also clothes. It's also maybe buying like everyday items for yourself, like maybe hygiene products. And Canada's better with it, just simply
Okay, I would
because.
say that Canada better because it's cheaper clothes here, so you can buy it for cheap. For example, my look now, I would to get to make assessment for this look in Ukraine. It's just gonna be like cost maybe 1,500 hryvnias, for example. But here you can buy it like for 500.
We have to move on to number 4, and that is like the banking system. Again, I'm not gonna spend too much time on this one because I made a video about banking in Ukraine, and I didn't really have too many complaints about it. But if you just quickly compare what you have in like Canada and in Ukraine, what really stands out, I think it's like the very, very cumbersome and slow and bureaucratic process when it comes to banks. It's very like most banks are open like really crappy hours, and they don't have good apps. Really, they just don't. They don't have any notifications like when you spend money, when you get it. So the Canadian banking system is very much behind technologically than Ukrainians. The one, I guess it's in the name of safety, but they want, Canadian banks want a lot of this confirmation of your birthday and this transaction. Sometimes, like when you don't have your card with you or something.
In Kyiv, it's just like convenient because you have all the apps. You have online app. You can go. You can just transfer easily money like to somewhere.
Yeah.
Like where you
And
want.
we're not going to talk about like how the national bank is run because in Ukraine is at war right now, and again, we're trying to keep the war out of it.
Orichka, come, my dear, come.
What a dirty nose! Wow, everybody will see in the video how what a dirty nose he has. Okay, so who gets the edge, Canada or Ukraine when it comes to the bank? I think, okay, Ukraine. Let's leave it at that. Again, yeah, we're trying to keep the war out of it. I know that the Canadian banking system is a lot more stable, and you can say the same thing about road construction and why in Ukraine it's like kind of like being put on the back burner, simply because there's a war and the government can't really afford to do everything, for everyone. Number 5, the government services, and I guess we can put into it like the effectiveness of the government service. I don't even want to discuss it. I just want to say Canada gets the upper hand, even though it's like very much like a little slow at times. At least things get done here, because in Ukraine, I don't know. I think there's no point to discuss it. Despite the fact that Ukraine wants to be in Europe and everything, it's very, very difficult to get consistent service at all times. You're gonna run into problems sooner or later. That's what I think. I don't know.
Yeah. At least it works here. Everything.
Corruption is still rampant in all levels. I mean, really. I've talked to foreigners in Ukraine, and they've told me, I've never run into corruption in Ukraine. Well, I talk to people from the east, like in Kharkiv, and in those areas, and they run into corruption all the time. So it's not like that in Canada. Everything is consistent. Doesn't really matter where you go. You don't have to look for like a safe place to get good service, or a safe place like free of corruption. In Ukraine, you have to kind of like dig for like that good guy that you know, or someone that you know that can help you out. You can't just like go and get things done. Random government service. The number 6 one is healthcare and effectiveness of healthcare, and like your experience in pharmacies, your experience with doctors. You keep in mind in Canada it's free healthcare. Well, it's not really free, but you don't really pay for anything unless you have to get your medicine from the pharmacy, unless you have to get your eye test or whatnot. Then you have to pay, right? Or if you actually give birth in Canada, you have to pay for hospital stays. You have to pay for many things. But what do you think of Canada versus Ukraine?
If to talk about my experience, it was I don't know, very difficult because I had my stomach problems, and I just couldn't call to any clinic.
In Canada, yeah?
Yeah, I just called like to 6 or 7 clinics, and nobody picked up the phone. And they have like some interesting system that first of all, before to go to appointment, doctor has to call you, and if you missed this call, for example, then they will call you maybe some other next time, like next week or something. And I just missed this call, and they're like, okay, we will call you like next week, and I have to wait 1 week more, and I'm like, okay guys, I just feel like very bad. I don't
dying.
know, like I'm dying. Yeah, I have like emergency, so I will not wait like for 1 week.
Autorespondent, where they want you to leave a message. So like, if you have an emergency, please go to the emergency room.
Yeah. And then okay, I had no, I would not say that I had like such a big emergency, but I felt very bad, and okay, I just went to this emergency hospital because I had no other way to do like some other option. And they went there, and they was waiting like there for the whole day to just get my referral to doctor. And okay, I've got my referral to doctor, but I couldn't reach, like I couldn't reach this doctor maybe for during 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, and what you have to do.
How was it in Ukraine? In Ukraine, it's not free. You gotta pay. In Ukraine, right? It's not free. You gotta pay, but at the same time,
yeah, at least somebody answers you.
Something. Yeah, well, because they want your money, right? It's the same thing here. If you go to like a dentist, for example, he's gonna call you back. He's gonna remind you that you have an appointment. You know, he's gonna. Okay, you've had this chronic problem for a long time in all your life, essentially, in Ukraine. And then here, where did you get better, you think, service? In Canada or in Ukraine?
For now, I would say in Ukraine. For now, I don't know, like these medicines that they gave me. I don't know if it's gonna help me or no, because I still.
But in terms of how much money you spent and how much time you spent, you still think Ukraine is?
No, Ukraine, yes, because it's just like they just took my time like during 1 month, and I couldn't decide this problem, and even now I can't solve this problem. I don't know.
Whether they diagnose you the right way or not is important. You haven't had worse diagnosis in Ukraine than in Canada at this time. So what we're trying to say is that the doctors are not any worse in Ukraine than they are here.
It's just easier because you just call, somebody answers you. Okay. They just give a referral. Okay, you just go to this referral, you buy a medicine.
Well, what about number 7 is things to do and fun things to do and like activities, concerts, festivals, I guess, between between Toronto and Kiev, if we're going to be considering cities. Are you gonna at least say hello? No, he won't. It doesn't really matter what. Maybe not even like city things. Maybe you want to go out on nature and stuff.
You know, like in Kiev, I felt home. I cannot compare this. Maybe Toronto is also.
I think Toronto is better. Well, it's a bigger city. In terms of the quality and the amount of things to do for children, I think it's way better here. It costs a lot more, of course, but in Ukraine, there's really no investment. Nobody's investing into these big science centers for children, these planetariums, like some aquariums. There's no investment. That's really the bottom line. I've seen some of these science centers for children, and it's a little more than like a Soviet building, and with like some Soviet boards and some Soviet, painted like I don't know, a globe or whatever with all these countries drawn on it, and it just looks really. Even a smaller city in Canada, I think it will have a lot more things to do. It's hard for you to say, right? In Ukraine, I remember we had Atlas Fest, this musical fest. Was it Atlas Weekend or whatever it was called? It's like the largest event of the year. But I don't think it has much more than that. That's it. That was really it.
Why? That's it.
Atlas Weekend, whatever.
No, and on Контрактова площа.
Oh yeah. There's like all these festivals.
They have all these events. I would say like in Kiev it's just a lot.
The Christmas markets are very beautiful there too.
Yeah.
Compared to here, I don't think there's much of Christmas spirit in Toronto. Well, I mean, they put out lights, but and they maybe have like.
And like all the master classes that you have, all these exhibitions that you have.
So it's gonna be like a tie. I think like it's hard to say what's better.
For me, of course, for now it's better Kyiv for me because I don't know. Maybe I did not like taste Toronto like the whole Toronto, but.
Like I don't know. I think it's gonna be a tie. I don't know. It really depends on what you like. No. It depends. It's like a tie. It's like both have their pluses and minuses.
Yeah.
So I
But
don't know.
I'm still sure that in Toronto you have all these events also, but we don't really often go
Well,
to these
yeah, and
events.
they're not very accessible because of bad traffic, and people are working all the
Yeah.
time, and you have to think of how to get there. So
Mhm.
it's like there's really, but in general, Toronto has way more high quality things to offer. It's just that they're not very accessible. That's what I think.
Mhm.
Whereas in Ukraine, they're more accessible. It's more accessible. There's also lots of events happening. Number 8, I guess I'm just gonna go over this very fast. It's like work environment and work culture. I don't know. I guess we haven't really worked much in Canada, but I'll say that I like the Ukrainian work culture more because you get more time off. You have like usually 3 weeks or something to a month of vacation. Here you usually have 2 weeks. People are a lot more flexible, I think, in Ukraine when it comes to work. I just think the work culture is a bit better in Ukraine because you have a better work and life balance. Here, it's just everybody seems to work, so I would give that Ukraine a plus. Of course, people in Ukraine don't get paid as much money. But in general, when it comes to the work culture itself, I think that in Canada people like to work a lot more, and in Ukraine they don't. It's like it has a more healthier uh, work-life balance, and I would give I would give Ukraine an edge there. Well, what do you think?
Maybe I did not try to work in Toronto, so I don't
Hmm.
know. I cannot really
Yeah.
say anything about it.
Okay. So that was number. That was number 8. Okay, number 9 is the second last one. Is about the safety and people in general, and maybe the culture, and just in general. What do you think is better, people in Ukraine or people in Canada? We don't know that many people in
Uh,
Canada, so.
about safety, I would prefer Kiev, of course, because in Toronto, I don't know, it's not really comfortable for me, to go somewhere in downtown or something, because it's for me it's seems dangerous. You have all the people insane here, and it's a lot of them, and all of them are bums, or they just asking about something, or they just have strange behavior, or they are yelling in a subway station somewhere, or they do some shit, and you just feel not so comfortable, and can you expect that somebody can just
Yeah.
go behind you and just hit you in the head? Yes, you can expect it, because
But in Ukraine, not really, not so much.
not so much. Yeah, of course we have in Kiev we have bombs, of course, but it's not
Okay.
they don't make you
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Well, what about people in general? What do you think of people?
Uh,
Are they better or worse?
I don't know. People are the same. I don't really know Canadians so much, but I think they are good people.
The good people are better than Ukrainians?
They're not better than Ukrainians. I think they're in Kiev good people, and here are good people. Why somebody has to be better, honestly?
Okay. Okay, so the last one, number 10, we're gonna talk a little bit about cost of living. And basically, I guess cost of living is not a very good metric to measure Kiev versus Toronto on, because we all know, Toronto is more expensive. It's like 3 or 4 times more expensive. But in the end, cost of living, I guess should probably say the value that you get per amount of money you spend, not necessarily what you get for spending $1, because we all know that $1 buys you a bit more in Ukraine than it does in Canada. But from the services and stuff, what is more cost effective? I personally think that things in Toronto cost a lot, especially when it comes to services, and sometimes it's not even worth the quality that you get out of it. Ukraine is better when it comes to the cost of living, and it comes to the value that you get out of certain things. Not, I'm talking about the private sector, like private hospitals, private people, private businesses. I'm not talking about the government, of course. What do you think?
Um, of course, I don't know. I just got used to Kiev. I just got used to quality, even quality of food. because here you just get an expensive stuff. For example, like meat, it costs here very expensive. And if you go to some store and you buy some meat, it can be spoiled. I also
Yeah, you have
had
some bad
experience,
experiences, but I have the same
about
thing
it.
in ATB, in Ukrainian chains, grocery store chains, or like, you know, they had like bad fruits and bad vegetables that were like being sold. So, so you'd say that Ukraine gets the edge on the last point. Okay. Okay, well, I guess that will be it, right? I mean, I don't know. You have anything else to add? I don't really uh, have anything else to say. I think that, I mean, in general, we're gonna count them up and decide what country is better. I guess in terms of, you know, this objective, I guess, semi-objective rating that we've made up. And I hope you guys
Yeah,
enjoyed this video. And Oreo's gone. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video with
yeah,
Ukrainian couple
it's just our experience.
and our experience and everything. And let us know what you guys think. Maybe you have something else to add to this in the comments below, or hit like and subscribe. And we're gonna be glad to see you guys next time.
Yeah, take
Take care.
care.
Bye. Bye,
Bye.
guys.